Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Thursday, December 31, 2020. Deutsche Welle report. Mali charges former PM with coup attempt. The Office of the Public Prosecutor in the Malian capital, Bamako, on Thursday said 6 people were under investigation for plotting against the government, criminal association, insulting the head of state and complicity. A group defending the 6 said the individuals, who include former Prime Minister Boubou Cisse, had been charged with an attempted coup. 5 of the accused are in custody, the news agency AFP reported, except for Cisse, whose whereabouts are unknown to authorities.
CNN report. JCPenney CEO is out after 2 years of failure. Jill Soltau was hired to save JCPenney. 2 years later, her company was sold out of bankruptcy and she's been shown the exit. This isn't the ending JCPenney had in mind for Soltau when she was brought on in October 2018, at least not quite this soon. Few expected JCPenney to avoid bankruptcy entirely with its enormous pile of debt coming due in the next several years. But the pandemic pushed JCPenney to the brink a lot faster than anyone had imagined.
CNN report. Mob attacks and sets ablaze a Hindu temple in northwestern Pakistan. A mob in northwestern Pakistan attacked and set ablaze a century-old Hindu temple on Wednesday, officials said, prompting condemnations from the Muslim-majority country's Hindu community. Hindus are the largest non-Muslim religious group in Pakistan, which gained independence from British rule in 1947, when the subcontinent was partitioned into Muslim-majority Pakistan and Hindu-majority India. Videos made by locals at the scene and shared with Reuters showed a crowd breaking apart blocks of the temple structure's walls using stones and sledgehammers, as dark smoke from a large fire billowed into the sky.
CNN report. 2020 was a terrible year for Europe. 2021 is unlikely to be much better. You'd struggle to find anyone in Europe who will be unhappy to see the back of 2020. COVID-19, Brexit and the international political carnage of this year have hammered the continent and exacerbated tensions that have blighted the European Union for years. But those problems are not going anywhere in 2021. With no pandemic, fraught talks with the UK or an American president as anti-European Union as Donald Trump, Brussels might finally find space to address issues that have long undermined the bloc, though it won't be easy.
Al Jazeera report. Box office bomb. 2020 was year like no other for film industry. When the sun sets on the 2020 film box office, it will be difficult to look at the numbers as anything but disastrous. After 5 consecutive years of North American revenues exceeding $11 billion, this year they are expected to cap out at an almost 40-year low of about $2.3 billion. That will be down 80% from last year, according to data firm Comscore. Globally, where markets have been able to recover more fully, ticket sales will likely end up somewhere between $11 billion and $12 billion.
Al Jazeera report. U.S. vaccine rollout falls short of 20 million jabs by end of 2020. The race to vaccinate millions of Americans against COVID-19 is off to a slow start, with only about 2.8 million Americans having received a vaccine going into the last day of 2020, putting the United States far short of the government's target to vaccinate 20 million people this month. About 14 million doses of Pfizer's and Moderna's vaccines have been distributed to states so far, federal officials told reporters on Wednesday.
Fox report. Wisconsin hospitals claim employee intentionally removed coronavirus vaccine from fridge probed by FBI, FDA. Federal authorities are assisting Wisconsin police in their investigation into a hospital employee who was fired for deliberately spoiling 500 doses of the coronavirus vaccine. An employee at Aurora Medical Center in Grafton admitted that they intentionally removed 57 vials of the Moderna's vaccine from refrigeration earlier this week. In a statement issued late Wednesday, police in Grafton said the FBI and the Food and Drug Administration (FDA) are actively investigating the case alongside the department.
BBC report. Ontario Finance Minister Rod Phillips resigns over Caribbean vacation. Minister Rod Phillips apologized and called the travel a dumb mistake. Mr. Ford on Thursday said Mr. Phillips' departure showed his government take seriously our obligation to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Canada's most populous province has discouraged all non-essential travel amid record-high new case counts. Mr. Phillips, who is a member of the Progressive Conservative Party, had taken a personal trip to St. Bart's on 13 December and returned on Thursday morning.
Fox report. Border Patrol rescues Mexican migrant found hanging from border wall in California. Border agents rescued a Mexican national who got stuck on the border wall in California while trying to enter the U.S. illegally, authorities said Wednesday. Agents patrolling Imperial Beach found the 25-year-old man hanging from a part of the wall that juts out into the Pacific Ocean at around 8:15 p.m. Tuesday, U.S. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) said in a statement. The migrant had tried to scale down the U.
CNN report. These 5 patents offer hints about what an Apple car could look like. Talk of a possible Apple car is back. Apple AAPL hasn't commented publicly on its plans for the project, nicknamed Titan, so it's not clear exactly what will come of the effort. Some who follow the company think it could release a whole Apple-branded, electric, self-driving car. Others think it's more likely Apple will partner with existing automakers to sell an operating system iDrive, maybe self-driving tools or other technology.
BBC report. Mohammed Hassan Rezaieh. UN condemns Iran over juvenile execution. Its Human Rights Office said that Mohammed Hassan Rezaieh, aged 30, was put to death on Thursday. Amnesty International said Mr. Rezaieh had been arrested in 2007 over the fatal stabbing of a man. It said he was convicted on a forced confession. It had warned that carrying out the sentence would represent an abhorrent assault on children's rights. Imposing the death penalty on someone who was a child at the time of the crime is a serious violation of international human rights law, which absolutely prohibits the use of the death penalty for crimes committed by children, it said in a statement earlier this month.
Deutsche Welle report. Belarus charges independent journalists with tax evasion. 4 staff at an independent Belarusian press association have been charged with tax evasion, a lawyer for the group's founder said Thursday. Yulia Slutskaya, a journalist who founded the Belarusian Press Club in 2016, has been charged with large-scale tax evasion, her lawyer Anton Gashinsky told AFP news agency. She will remain in pre-trial detention until February 23. Slutskaya is also a member of the board of the Belarus Association of Journalists (BAJ).
Fox report. UK Prime Minister's father seeks French citizenship. I will always be European. As Britain prepares to split from the European Union, the father of Prime Minister Boris Johnson appears to be seeking closer ties with the bloc by applying for French citizenship. Stanley Johnson told broadcaster RTL on Thursday that he was in the process of reclaiming his French identity. It is not a question of becoming French. If I understand correctly, I am French. My mother was born in France. Her mother was completely French, as was her grandfather.
BBC report. Australia changes national anthem to reflect Indigenous past. The anthem will no longer refer to Australia as young and free, in an attempt to reflect the country's long Indigenous history. The announcement was a surprise but welcomed across the government. People inhabited Australia for tens of thousands of years before it was colonised by mostly white English settlers in the 18th century. The line to be removed in the anthem, which is called Advance Australia Fair, is, "For we are young and free."
Fox report. China utilizes new, sophisticated methods to revive patriotic education. Report. China is looking to new, modern methods in its campaign of patriotic education. According to reports, the focus on patriotic education has come back into sharp focus as China wrangles with how to handle Hong Kong after its controversial handling of the extradition bill that led to protests that lasted throughout 2019 and the national security law that revived the protests earlier in 2020. Teenagers and young adults led the charge in the Hong Kong response, with around 40% of the thousands of protesters arrested in 2019 registered as students.
Al Jazeera report. Microsoft says suspected Russian hackers accessed source code. Microsoft Corp. said the suspected Russian hackers behind the stunning breach of numerous U.S. government agencies also accessed the company's internal source code, although no customer data or services were compromised. We detected unusual activity with a small number of internal accounts and upon review, we discovered one account had been used to view source code in a number of source code repositories, Microsoft said Thursday in a blog post that updated its continuing investigation of the attack.
Deutsche Welle report. COVID kills 26 in Belgian care home after Santa Claus visit. At least 26 residents of a Belgian retirement home have died since a visit by a volunteer dressed as Santa Claus who has since tested positive for COVID-19, Belgian media reported on Thursday. A Flemish health official told AFP news agency that is not certain if it was the visitor who brought the virus to the home in Hemelrijk on December 5. But the visit by the infected Father Christmas was followed by 26 deaths and 85 residents testing positive, along with 40 staff.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.